On Sunday at 7:30 in the evening, What I See premieres on Talk TV. It's a travel show, but it's much more because it will take you off the beaten tourist's path. Our guest, the host and photographer of the show, Paco Guerrero. Good evening, Paco. Welcome to Solar Network News. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for inviting us.
Okay, so what you actually provide in the show is like the backstory.
We'd like to think so. I mean, we've been to 13 destinations around the Philippines for this season. Well-known destinations, you know, Boracay, Lawag, Palawan. But we like to tell the story that people don't usually ask or aren't too curious about.
Yeah.
You know, we want to know who that guide is who's bringing you around the underground river, or where that delicious bagnet you're eating in Ilocos Norte, where does it come from? Who cooks it? You know, these are the stories we want to tell.
Okay, so there are things that we don't know yet about all these famous destinations.
Oh yeah, and I think all these famous destinations are constantly evolving. Some of them are in crisis, like the Banaue rice terraces, for example. You know, and some of them will continue to grow, like Boracay is constantly changing. And I think no matter how many times you go back over the years, there'll always be an interesting story to tell because it's about the people as much as it is about the place.
Earlier before the newscast we were talking and you were saying that the question you want to ask yourself and the question you want to ask viewers is how do we, what is that? How can we travel better? Right?
Yeah, I think that's a question I ask myself. How can we travel better, not just for our own enjoyment and our own pleasure and our own relaxation, but how can we travel better for the people we go to visit? You know, because we do have an impact as tourists, and that's something we should be very aware of, both in a positive and in a negative way. And I think this is something that the show tries to explore.
Okay. Is this your way of saying that this is like paying it forward, even if you're traveling or even if you're having a nice time? Ganun ba yun?
I hope so. I mean, there are stories that we've stumbled across while filming the show that have inspired me on a personal level to be able to travel. You know, just choosing your tour operator for a tour operator who might be linked to an NGO that gives its profits back to the local community, or just being mindful about your trash and which places you choose to go to and how well behaved you are while you're there. You know, and on another level, you know, for me, traveling is about enriching myself and the people I meet. I mean, it's a system whereby I learn and they learn, we learn together. You know, and you can only do that by being curious, by being really truly curious about the people you meet along the way.
So parang it's like not taking things for granted, no?
Exactly.
The ordinary things that we see. There is a story behind it. Parang ganun, ano?
I like to think of it, I mean, it's a bit cliche, but looking at it through the eyes of a child. I mean, that's how I try, and when I go to a new place, I have to treat everything as an unknown.
Your maiden episode on Sunday is about Bicol, so everybody knows Bicol, okay, Mayon volcano, most everybody's been there, no? You've seen the volcano, you've seen Cagsawa ruins, etc. But there is something we still don't know about it.
Well, you know, Bicol was a fantastic way to start. I mean, Mayon volcano is probably the most photographed volcano in the whole country. I mean, everybody has a picture there. You know, the ruins. It's a beautiful place. The food is great. But we were there. One of the places we visited was Misibis Bay, you know, which is this beautiful world-class resort there in Albay. And you know, they have a CSR program, a corporate social responsibility program, whereby the little slippers and the bags you find in your room that you can take home as a memorabilia are actually made by an association of women from the local community on the island. So it's these little stories that, for me, inspire me, and I hope by sharing it with other people, maybe other hotels can say, hey, that's a great idea. Why don't we do that with our local community? You know, it's about sharing the stories, and I think just by sharing, hopefully you're paying it forward.
Let's do a quick rundown of the 13 episodes that you've prepared for this season. No? And of course, you're not going to give away everything because people have to watch it. But when I went through the list, you know, I was thinking, these are places that most, you know, like you said, no, very famous destinations. So ano dito yung mga things left undiscovered?
You know, as travelers, we're all individuals. And although we go to the same place, our trip will be different. You know, because of the different people you meet. You know, for example, we met this fantastic bagnet maker up in Ilocos Norte, and she's been doing it for 20, 30 years. I never knew where bagnet came from, and I'd eaten it 1,000 times. Or we went down to Lake Cebu and we discovered the rather interesting story of the Tiboli people. You know, how it's this fantastic tourist destination, and yet there's a backstory there that for me, it was quite disturbing on a different level. We went to the Palawan Underground River, which is something that I think all of us should try and go visit. Just a spectacular place, and the people running it, I have to say, run it really well, and they seem like they are definitely passionate. Our guide does that tour maybe 20 times a day, but still the way he talked about the Underground River.
Parang first time.
Yeah, exactly. You could see a twinkle in his eye in the dim light of the cave, obviously. That was great to see, the way he had that passion still. That pride he had. Hey, look, this is here in the Philippines, this is ours. I want to share it.
Yeah.
Which is very close to what we're trying to do with this show, just show and share.
Okay, so parang you're a tour guide, but and how many, you've done this so many times, and yet you're not bored with it? Because if you're bored, then it'll show in your voice and in your face, no?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not like this
absolutely.
guy.
We've all been on tours where the tour leader with the thing is, and this is a monument, blah, blah, blah. It's not. This guy was, talking about it with passion and with pride, which is a great thing to see.
Being a photographer is not, as you said, not about how to take a picture well, but why? That's your question.
Everybody's a photographer today. If you have a phone, you're a photographer. Okay, we all upload on the web, we all do Facebook. Everybody has access to high-end digital cameras, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing that everybody's taking pictures. But I think I don't want to say amateur and professional. I think the next step, the next evolution, is after you learn how to take pictures, which is an important step. You have to operate all the buttons.
Yeah.
Why are you taking pictures?
Yeah.
For whom are you taking pictures? What does that photograph supposed to do? What is it supposed to communicate?
Show some of your photographs.
Sure.
These are the ones I chose kanina. Mga
Yeah, you
favorites
did a very good edit actually of some of the pictures from season 1. His name is Jimmy, and I was talking about the potential of tourism to help. The Batad Rice Terraces is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it was being threatened with removal from that list because it was deteriorating so quickly. And thanks to the effort of a lot of NGOs and a program called the Bayanihan Spirit, tourists were encouraged to go up for the weekend. They could see all the sites, and as part of their tour, they'd spend a few hours helping rebuild the rice terraces.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a great story.
That's their day pass. That's their.
That's like their
that's a payment.
That's your payback.
Yeah.
Because the thing about the rice terraces, it's not a static monument. It's something that is used and reused every season for the planting of rice. And unless we plant rice, there won't be any terraces.
Yeah.
A little backstory on me, I'm a falconer. I learned how to fly birds of prey as a kid, one of the weird things. And for me, one of my dreams was to photograph the Philippine eagle. I mean, it's a very endangered species. And it's not endangered because we can't breed them in captivity. That's been solved down in Davao at the Philippine Eagle Center. The problem is that there's nowhere to release them. They have released some individuals, some breeding pairs actually in the wild, and they've been shot or they've landed on electrical lines, so they don't have space.
I wish we had all the time for all the pictures, but let's skip to the man with the guitar.
The man with the guitar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's that?
This is in a guitar factory in Cebu. Yeah. And when I was a kid, the first place I went to outside of Manila was Cebu when I was about 8 years old. And I wanted, this is an episode and we wanted to explore Cebu. In this episode, you're going to see us inside prison. We go inside the cells of a prison. I won't give it all away, but it was very fun, very polite prisoners, actually.
Very polite. Ito yung dancing prisoners, ano?
That's
you have
right.
another photograph. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, but wait. So
the guitar.
The story behind this picture.
The story behind this picture is that when you arrive in Cebu, the first thing you hear is the sound of guitars in the airport, right? They welcome you with the guitar, and when you leave, you also hear the guitar. It's such for me, it's such an interesting symbol of Philippine history as well, because it was brought in by the Spanish, and yet we've made it so Filipino and so Cebuano. The way we transform things and make it our own. And that's a great thing to watch. That's why when we travel, all these destinations are always changing.
I found this interesting because, most pictures of guitars in Cebu are the ones hanging already, the ones ready for sale, diba? But this one was very different. And this is another favorite of mine, that little boy perched on.
This is the church in Pawai.
Pawai.
Which is another World Heritage. We have so many of these beautiful things. And it's a beautiful place to go. You can sit in front of it, watch the sunset, and have a coffee and watch the kids come out of school. It's beautiful.
Okay, last 10 seconds. You have a magazine there. The cover you took.
Yes, this is, luckily, I'm so lucky, the Philippines was on the cover of Travel and Leisure Southeast Asia and the US edition. It's a picture we took in Bohol, in Panglao. You know, it's a feather in my cap, and I was quite proud that the Philippines was finally on the cover of such a great publication like Travel and Leisure. Tourism is the future of the country, so that's a good thing.
Because it's what, more fun.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is, huh?
Yeah,
that's why you came back. No?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. Paco,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.